You mentioned students a fair amount in the answer you just gave. You've also posted some blogs and some videos on GoogleLunarXprize.org recently showing students doing work. Can you talk about how is Team Stellar going to take advantage of student labor? Are they just developing some concepts or building the actual hardware or somewhere in between?
It's all of that, actually. I mean, it started out with absolutely the concepts, and of course that's what you're seeing up on our blog entries, are some of the early, preliminary ideas of what the Team Stellar Eagle rover, as we're naming it, would look like. But that's not the only design being considered, but it's the one that is the foremost developed as far as a concept. The students are still engaged. They haven't taken a break because of the summer, because most, if not all, of these students live in the area, or they have remained in the area for the summer. So this has not come to a halt because of a summer break. In fact, it started during the very earliest part of summer break. So I'm glad to see that is continuing. And what's really amazing is to really experience, I mean, you hear this, but to not just feel it, but to see it. To be in a room with these students as they talk to myself and Dick and Richard and Andre and Grayson, the core team, as they talk to us about the work that they're doing and the excitement that's in their voices, is just incredible. And absolutely, that's a big part of why Team Stellar stood up with such a strong connection to the university, because we absolutely look at this as a way to give students a real connection to doing something in space that has commercial potential after the Google Lunar X Prize is won, whether it's our team or another team. And that's really a big part of what Team Stellar wants to accomplish. It's focusing on students' potential, future career growth, workforce development, all of that.
Excellent. Can you tell me a little bit about the core team? And you mentioned a lot of the names, Dick,
Sure.
Richard, Grayson, just who they are, how they sort of ended up teaming up together.
Absolutely. Let me start with Dick Dell, who's the director of Team Stellar. He's the executive director of the Advanced Vehicle Research Center, which is a corporation in North Carolina. His son Richard Dell is the program manager at the AVRC, and he's also the program manager on Team Stellar. The Advanced Vehicle Research Center brings skill and experience at developing autonomous vehicles and also technology to power those vehicles, so all relevant to a rover operating on the moon. Grayson Randall is an IBM engineer, and so he's also part of the core team, and he brings that engineering experience, and also, what's really great is, he brings the connections to IBM, so certainly as we seek sponsorships, and he's working that path in his company. Andre Mazzolini is a professor, and I cannot remember if it's mechanical and aerospace engineering or one or the other. Andre, I'm sorry if you're watching this. And so he's really been front and center at getting the students to be involved. He's really made a major contribution in that regard. And then one of the first graduate students that started out on the core team is a gentleman named Gordon Jeans. He's a former U.S. Army tank driver, and now in school at NC State. So he did some of the first work on preliminary designs, and has helped also bring other students involved as well. So those are the people that have had the most involvement because of the time that's been permitted. William Edmonds is part of ASTREC, and I know I'm not going to remember what that acronym is, but it is it's a university base, and it's in multiple states, including Florida, for example, that brings the capability, or the expertise of designing small satellites. So that's certainly key. And I also forgot to mention, perhaps even the most important contribution, going back to Grayson. He and another gentleman who's part of the team, Walt Sleva, are leaders of what's called Insight Racing. They were one of the competitors and semifinalists for the DARPA Urban Challenge last year. So, of course, you can imagine the skill and the expertise that they bring, having competed in the Urban Challenge for DARPA. So that's the core of the team.
Excellent. Okay, that's all I had. Anything you'd like me to ask, or that you just want to say?
No, I appreciate your asking the questions and giving me the opportunity to talk about the team and the conference as well.
Yep. Okay, perfect.